الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.
I'm in meeting. What is this?
أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. هيا على السلام. هيا على السلام. هيا على الفلاح. هيا على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
وعلى آله وصحبه
وسلم.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you've made the most out of Ramadan and you've been enjoying our Ramadan Summit. As today is the what's it called? The 28th of Ramadan. So we only have like the last 3 days of the Ramadan Summit as Ramadan. So make the most of not just the Ramadan, but also do stay on board and keep on joining us for our talks. I'm Alina Zaman, and I will be your moderator for today. The Ramadan Summit is the final part of the Design Post-COVID Humanity Program, based on the three virtues, Taruf, Ta'awun, and Tarahum, acquaintance, cooperation, and mercifulness. DPCH is under the umbrella of Maker Majlis, an initiative organized by College of Islamic Studies at Hamad bin Khalifa University in Qatar. So the idea behind the Ramadan Summit is that we've been having a speaker every day to give a talk about a value that is important to them. And for today, we'll be having two speakers, Ghada Al-Subaey and Ankit Agarwal. Ghada graduated from Georgetown University, majoring in international politics. She then continued her master's at the University of Cambridge in educational leadership. She currently works in Qatar social work, and she's interested in design thinking and holistic personal development. Now, without further ado, please hear from Ghada on why design thinking is important today. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today, and thank you for the introduction. Thank you for organizing this event and allowing us to learn from many different people on different topics. So today I want to talk about design thinking. And if I can share my screen. I need the permission to
you are co-host there, Ghada. I think it should be fine.
Can you see my screen?
No, but you are co-host, so
okay. Then
you want to try off?
Okay, I don't know, for some reason it's not working.
Is it easy to send it to us?
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so I'll talk with even without it. It's not a problem. So why do we need design thinking today? If we think about design thinking, some of us might think it's something that is specifically used in many of the top design companies, such as Apple or other companies that design products. This is what I had in mind when I thought of design thinking. I couldn't see how can we use it in everyday problem solving. As humans, we face problems every day. We resort to problem solving and solving any problem that we face. Most of the time, the problem solving techniques that we use is we simply define the problem, and then we brainstorm what ideas for different solutions that we can come up with. We choose what we think is the best one, and we implement it, whether it's a service that we want to roll out, whether it's a new product that we want to design, and then we review it. But let's take a minute to stop there and think, what are we missing in terms of really understanding what the problem is? Looking at design thinking, the first step is to empathize. Empathy really allows us to understand the problem from the user's end. Whether your user is a friend, or if it's a company, or if you're the government and you're designing a service for citizens, it allows you to understand it from their point of view. A lot of times we tend to overlook this step. And I want to look at the underlying assumptions that we have when we talk about empathy, and when we try to do that in whether it's in a work setting. So imagine that you're trying to solve a problem and you have a team and you're in your organization and you're trying to practice empathy. What would that mean to you? It would mean that you would have to let go of your assumptions about the problem. And many times we come in thinking we already know what the problem is. And that is mistake number one. We come in thinking, what's the problem? We really already know what the problem is. So we come in with a mindset of let's find the solution. And here we become impatient of learning the actual needs. So what ends up happening is that we start designing a service or a problem for a need that isn't really there, or we're ignoring the actual need that is out there. And this is why in today's world, where there's a lot of connection and interaction with users, we have to let go of our own assumptions and practice listening and observing settings, understanding the real needs. And how do we do that? In design thinking, there's something called empathy mapping. And in empathy mapping, you don't just have focus groups or interviews with people. That's one thing. And I think we're all used to that. Think of a project that you created where you thought, okay, I did a focus group and I listened to the target group. So I actually integrated their needs, but that's not enough. Because there are a lot of needs that are not articulated. So when you look at empathy mapping, you look at what they think and what they feel. So you understand the person. You create personas, and you understand their dreams, their ambitions, their motivations, their frustration, and you hear what the others are saying, and you observe their environment, and you look at what they say and what they do, which could be different. So there might be needs that are not articulated. And so as a design thinker, you come in and you look at those unmet needs. You understand their fears and what they want to gain and what motivates them. This is what a lot of designers do very well in product design. But we don't only use design thinking in developing new products, but we can also use it in developing services. And I want you to, as I talk about it, I want you to think of the situation that we're in today in a COVID-19 context. How can this be a tool that we can use? Now, speaking of empathy and you doing that as a first step to understand our users, so we would understand a need. And then we would look at the problems that we gathered, the information that we gathered, and then we would reframe. We would look for patterns, and humans are good at finding patterns. We're all good at finding patterns. So we can find patterns and reframe what the problem is. Now, what is stopping us or the underlying assumptions that I want to I want you to think of today, not just understand the process, but think of the underlying assumptions that might block you from doing this practice, whether in work or in any day-to-day situation. If you're an action-oriented person, you would not like this process because you enter in a setting of uncertainty. So we have to kind of make peace with that element of uncertainty and how to navigate through it. So we're very motivated by knowing what is the solution when we enter into a situation. It gives us a lot of safety. So think of what blocks you from doing this practice and being okay with examining your own biases and reframing problems. So, and a lot of times we come in with the solution in mind, and we also tend to be impatient with understanding what the problem is, especially if you are surrounded with people who are action-oriented, as I mentioned. So this is the first steps where you frame what the problem is. When you come in to the process of ideation and creating ideas, it's really important to do it in a diverse team. And today we can see the rise of and the importance of having diverse teams, as the world is really connected and we still tend to approach things in silos. So we like to get a specialist in a certain area to look at the problem, and we think that would be enough. But in today's world, you need experts in many different areas looking at the same problem to come up with a holistic solution. So this means that it's whether it's creativity or innovation, it's a team sport. It's not a one-man show. So you also, when approaching this, have to learn how to create with others and understand how can you let your ideas flow without judgment, and which is harder done than said, because in many times we do filter our own ideas and we do practice that judgment that does not allow the flow of ideas to be there out there. And here I'd like to take a moment to again take a deeper look at what would block you from doing a process like ideation. What would block you from practicing brainstorming new ideas, whether you're working on a project or your own business, wherever you are? What do you think is the main blocker that would stop you from getting your ideas out there? And I think here we need to re-examine what does it mean to be creative? What's your own definition of creativity or creative thinking? I think somewhere along the way, growing up, we developed the idea about creativity and creative thinking, that it's just for a few people, the talented people, the artistic people, that it's something for the few. It's not everyone can practice creative thinking. And that's one assumption that blocks us from really examining our true creative thinking force that everyone has. So re-examining what does it mean to be creative, your assumptions about it, it's something that can really unlock a lot of ideas that you have once you redefine what does creativity mean. There are a lot of authors that spoke about creative living, living creatively, how to dismantle this idea that creativity is for the few. So in design thinking, in practicing design thinking, you will have to let go of this notion of creativity and embrace a wider notion. Also, personally, I always thought about creative thinking and creativity as something that has to be really big, that dramatically changes everything. It's something that no one did before. That's how I approached creativity or creative thinking. You have to be at a certain level to be allowed to think creatively. So we forgot what it means to have incremental creativity, like incremental changes, incremental innovation, even if it's not that one big idea that everyone will be talking about that will change the way businesses do things. Incremental innovation, incremental change is what we need right now. It's whether you're upgrading and offering a customer or a client service in a better way, designing a better product. We need to also celebrate these incremental changes that does have large impact on others. So this is one of the things that would block us from looking at the process itself. Another thing that would block us, imagine if you have a lot of ideas, even as a kid, as an employee, what would be the first thing that would stop you from sharing your ideas? And it's a human instinct, is you're trying to avoid making mistakes, which is something that almost all of us faced, or it's something internalized in almost everyone, is the fear of making mistakes, which keeps us in our comfort zone. Design thinking is completely against that. So if you're a design thinker and if you're trying to find solutions, different kind of solutions for an existing need, you will have to let go of that fear. You will have to be okay with making mistakes. And if you look at if you read the bio of many like innovators, the first thing you would see is fail faster, fail many times. We hear this a lot, but still in our culture, in whether it's your work setting or our culture in general, we try to avoid making mistakes. So think about that, and how can letting go of that fear can really allow you to grow and realize your creative thinking, which can be used in the process of design thinking. And today, when we look at the situation that we're in today, COVID-19 came to create a major disruption, disrupting the way we work, disrupting the way we connect with others, the way we shop, the way we do everything. A lot of people, a lot of innovators and design thinkers all over the world see COVID as a design thinking case, because we are entering an area where there's a lot of uncertainty for governments, for citizens, for employees, for parents, for teachers. A lot of concepts that were in our comfort zone, that stayed in our comfort zone, that we thought this is the way we are doing things and this is how we will continue doing it for a very long time, is now being disrupted. Therefore, this is an opportunity for us to design new solutions. And in order to do that, and we see it all over. If we look at different governments in different, like in the UK, they use design thinking to design the information that was being broadcasted for all the citizens. So it was what needs to be said. It took them a couple of weeks to consolidate the messaging and how they want to go about it. In different other countries, understanding the user's needs made them create services or create messaging to overcome problems such as panic shopping at the beginning of COVID. And that happened in the UK. So if you think about how COVID disrupted your life and how it reframed a lot of notions, such as working, what does work mean? In design thinking, when you reframe a problem, you frame it as how might we? How might we help employees feel connected in a virtual setting, for example? So a lot of design questions started to emerge. And whether it's in education, whether it's in work, how can we play sports during COVID? How can we stay connected? Mental health issues started to rise as well, and design questions started to emerge. So in order to start really using this as an opportunity to come up with new solutions, we will have to go back and dismantle the main things, the main assumptions that blocks us from moving away from a traditional, conventional, very safe way of problem solving to a more dynamic design thinking approach. And as I mentioned, in order to make that shift, it's like the world is forcing us today. It's forcing us to re-examine, and it's forcing us to redesign our thinking, because the solutions that are needed today, the way forward needs a new way of thinking. And the new way of thinking needs new assumptions. It needs a new value system or a new belief system. So what I'd like you to take out from today is, how can you redefine these assumptions, the main assumptions that could stop you from using design thinking, from connecting with your own creative thinking, whether it is, what does creative thinking mean to you? Redefining creativity for yourself, and how can you apply it in life and in work? And overcoming the fear of making mistakes and allowing yourself to enter a realm of new challenges and making mistakes to uncover new solutions. And also your assumptions about what does success look like at the end. In design thinking, you create a prototype and you have to test it and iterate and make changes. It needs a certain level of resilience. So it will not be a one-time product that you create one time and you'll have your final success story. No, it's a continuous process in which you interact heavily with your users, and based on that, you start making changes. So think of these assumptions if they are blocking your own creative thinking process, and how can you apply design thinking in your life, and how can you introduce it in your workplace, practicing some elements of it if you struggle to put forward the whole process, whether it's being more human-centered in discussing ideas and putting together proposals, and practicing empathy at a personal level and bringing it to your corporate place. And how will that, and start noticing, how will that impact the way you see things, the way you feel about things, and the amount of ideas that you're exploring that are out there. And you might find yourself starting to act on your ideas. One of the assumptions also is that if you're a creative person, you lack focus and discipline and you can't execute. That's also an assumption that we need to reevaluate, as you can have a balance between there is a balance between exploring ideas and moving to what defining the idea, and between having all your creative ideas and then really executing them. So these are things we tend to say to ourselves to stay where we are and to do the conventional way of solving problems. So I'm going to stop here, and I'll leave the rest of the time to take your questions and comments on what I shared on design thinking. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much, Ghada. Barakallahu Feek. That was so eloquently delivered. It was just beautiful. Like, you didn't have your presentation on, but it created a powerful impact. So going back to what you said about design thinking, firstly, this like design post-COVID humanity, the program itself, one of the core components of DPCH is the design thinking approach. And using this, we had teams working on this to come up with innovative solutions. And we recently held the final pitch, where we had 3 teams who won the final pitch, and hopefully they will now be working on the next stage of how they can test out their prototypes. And another thing that I really liked about your talk is how you said that design thinking, until you become fearless and you have it in you that, you know, if you have an idea, then it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to share with others. And if we're not able to do this, then, you know, it's not design thinking. And with me, like with my personal experience with design thinking, when I was with the QSTP workshop, at that time I was working on an idea of coming up with a social enterprise. But at that time, in the beginning, the way I thought of it was, okay, how can I just help out these artisans? Like, what do they need? But I wasn't thinking of from the perspective, like, I wasn't empathizing. I never thought of it like, what do the customers need here? And why is it important? Like, what's lacking here? And how can I meet the customers' needs here? And after conducting research, I mean, through interviews and surveys, then we found out that, okay, you know, so the problem, like the core problem from the artisans, the marginalized artisans themselves, and the customers here, I mean, they're aligned. So if I were to come up with a solution, then I would have to look at both of their needs. And so this was my experience with design thinking. And like now, it's so important, like when you're like looking at a problem, it's so important to firstly empathize, so you know your customer's needs, and only then can you'll be able to define the problem and then like work on it. So thank you so much again for this. And now we will move on to the Q&A. I think Ayan would like to ask a question. Ayan, would you like to unmute yourself, please?
Hi, Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Kareem. So nice to hear from you again, Ghada. That was amazing. That was inspiring. And your poise, your eloquence, everything was just mashallah, mashallah. And you really, I want to ask you a question that kind of is like an overview of what I understood from what you shared, and kind of connecting all the dots in terms of diversity, in terms of globalization and kind of creating cooperation and community in order for us to deliver solutions or new assumptions that kind of restructure or rebuild a different future, especially for the youth and the ones going into leadership positions or policy or government. However, now the people that are in the decision-making spaces aren't people with this kind of mindset. So coming from a space of international relations, how can we highlight the benefits of globalization, and how can we use education to advocate for human rights? Because in that way we would have tolerance. But until we have tolerance and understanding and acceptance of other communities, we won't be able to apply any of this because there'll be resistance. So how can we, navigate that? Or what has your experience been in navigating that if you've had challenges in your path? Thank you. And yeah, that's all.
Thank you so much, Ayan, for your question, which is very important. And it's something that I keep thinking about personally, as we always tend to think of that we need the leadership to adopt a certain view in order for us to be able to practice it, which is totally understandable. And realistically, this is something that everyone wants. We want all leaders to be in a certain way. We want all leaders to empower. We want all leaders to listen to their employees. We want leaders to have a design thinker mindset. However, let's also look at how do we define leadership? We really define leadership in our culture based on your position. So if you are in a position of leadership, which is one way of looking at leadership, you then have the authority and influence, the authority and ability to influence. Leadership in its essence, the definition is the ability to influence. Whether you can influence within your own sphere of influence, then you're practicing leadership. So I agree on the importance of ensuring that our leaders understand this mindset, but I would also caution us not to rely so much on that and forget our own agency and our own ability to create and our own ability to influence. It might not be in a very big way, such as a big policy change that will impact the lives of others. You could practice it within your own sphere. You could lead it within your own sphere of influence and create that message that you want to bring across in terms of human rights and the things that you mentioned. I think in that way, you're not disappointed much, and you also feel that you also have something to contribute and you have something that you can add. I hope that answers the question in some way.
Thank you so much for your question and for answering it. Ghada, that was beautifully answered. We will now move on to our next question. I believe Professor Talk would like to say something.
I can be the last one, Alina. Please proceed with the next question, I believe, Tekang. And then at the end, I can just raise my question, no worries.
Okay, all right. Tekang, would you like to unmute yourself, please?
Okay, thanks very much. It's a new day, a new sermon. Thanks very much, Ghada. I want to ask from you, is there a correlation between critical thinking and creative thinking?
Yes, thank you for that question. I was looking into that because I've always thought of myself as a critical thinker. I studied international politics where I had to practice a lot of critical thinking in writing essays and formulating arguments and counter arguments. And so I thought in critical thinking, you use logic a lot. Which is something which is good. It's what you also need to have, the rational and logical side. where you intersect with the creative thinking is that you use your analytical skills and you use that, but you use it while using not very much relying on things that are proven that you can use, but on exploring and generating new ideas. And then you would still use a lot of critical thinking in creating and looking at patterns, because you will have to eliminate ideas. You will have to find patterns. And here you will bring in your critical thinking mindset into it. So I think there is a way to for you to kind of use both mindsets, keeping in mind the assumptions that I spoke about that might stop you from continuing the process. So yes, I hope that answers your question.
Okay, so now Professor Tak, would you like to ask your question?
Yes, thank you so much, there, Ghada, for the wonderful presentation. I just have a very minor question, just out of curiosity. I know that you deal with a lot of projects in your work in Qatar social work, and I know that you have amazing experience in some other organizations in Qatar and internationally. So if I were to ask you actually to name two projects that you believe are really good examples of design thinking with a social impact, which projects you would like to list actually from your perspective?
Thank you, Professor, for your question. I work in Qatar social work, and we have 8 centers. We deal with complex issues. We provide services for different target groups, such as women and children who are at risk of physical abuse and violence, orphans, and people with disability. To be honest, we do have a lot of services. The centers are all rolling out their services. Do we use a design thinking in each one of them? Not yet. Is everyone on the same page using in terms of using the mindset? Not yet. And why? It's because of the assumptions that I mentioned. However, what we're trying to do is to create this kind of culture by one project that we're working on is the Impact platform, in which we try to create a diverse network of practitioners, of beneficiaries themselves, to create a more human-centered and empathetic approach to understanding our users. We look at a need, which is right now we're looking at online learning or virtual learning for people with disability, especially people with autism. Understanding that challenge from different perspectives, from the caregiver, the family, to the beneficiary himself, and how can we design a better experience, is a question that not just us Qatar social work are asking, but many others are facing the same challenge at the same moment. So we're trying to incorporate some elements of design thinking in that platform to come up with a solution. We might not have one solution at the end that is ready to be implemented, but we're trying to integrate different elements to first allow people to have a space for people to brainstorm without judgment, and to learn from others, and to create a team that's diverse, instead of kind of asking the same people, you're in the same circle, you're not letting anyone with a diverse background in. So this is one thing that we're trying to do.
Thank you so much, Ghada. That was very well explained. I think we're just short on time right now, so we will be moving on to our next speaker. But Ghada, would you like to please share your email ID or contact info in the message box? So I think we have another question, so people then can, if they have
Yes,
any
of course.
questions.
Yeah, thank you all for listening. I'll be sharing it, and I'd love if anyone has any question to reach out, feel free. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Now, moving on to our next speaker for today is Ankit Agarwal. Ankit Agarwal is a professional chartered accountant from the company secretary and CPA. He's currently working as the deputy finance manager in one of the leading construction companies in Qatar. Also, he's the vice chairperson for Doha chapter of ICAI and consul for Doha Changemakers Group in Qatar. Ankit recently launched his own website for Qatar called the Essence of Qatar. Now, over to Ankit. Let's hear more about how to bring about the change. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alina, for the lovely introduction. Before moving forward with my presentation, I have a small announcement to make. There will be a small quiz contest today at the end of the presentation, and the first person who will answer it correctly in the chat box will be awarded with a surprise gift from myself. So be ready and be focused on my presentation because the question will be related on my presentation only. Thank you so much. And I will be sharing my screen right now. I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, it's perfect.
Thank you so much. So good afternoon, everyone. The topic for the today's session is be the one to bring the change. So I would like to hear from the participants that if you hear the word bring the change, okay, that these three words bring the change, what actually does it means to you? What is the first thing comes in your mind or something? Can you just write on the chat box so I can have a look on that? Bring the change. What actually mean to you? Bring the change. If you hear this word, bring the change. Anyone from the audience can let me know for you what's bring the change mean? Okay, I got some of the replies. So positive transformation, yeah. Then somebody told me impacting lives. That's very true. Be the change yourself to change the world. That's amazing. And then there's another one, be the change and then bring the change. Of course, I think you all got it correctly. Today my session is all about that only. So be the one to bring the change. So how can you bring the change? You can't bring the change by yourself to the entire world. Like none of us can change the entire world by just ourselves. Okay, but it can be done with a small amendments in our life or encouraging the other peoples to do the same. Then what will happen? It will create a snowball effect. What is a snowball effect? The snowball effect is like if you have seen a hill, when the snow is falling from the hill, it comes in a very small particles, but when it comes slowly it becomes a huge particle, and so that is known as a snowball effect. So when we are making the small amendments in our life or encouraging the others to do the same, then it makes a huge impact in the entire planet in the longer run. So that means the bring the change. That's the all concept. You can say it means the bring the change. So I will be sharing a few simple ways that you, yes, even you can bring the positive change or the difference in the world. I will be sharing some of the ways how you can bring the positive change in the community, in the society, and in the world. So going to the first one is the share positivity. this is the right time, because you know the whole world is suffering from the COVID-19, and whenever you are opening the Facebook, whenever are you opening any media, social media, television, everywhere it's a news, everywhere the negative news is floating on. It's like so many people have died, so many people are suffering. Okay, so this is the right time to make your mind more calm by sharing the positive news, not the negative one. Kindly refrain yourself from all the negative news and try to share more and more of the positive news videos which are available in the social media sites. Like if you have seen the video of Jay Shetty, you have seen the video of Darman, you have seen the positive minds videos. So try to share all those videos or all those messages in the social media, which will create a more positive impact on the people life. Try not to share all those negative things like, okay, this much cases have increased or this much death has happened. So this all are making the people more and more negative approach. So my first thing is that if you really want to bring a change in the society, you can bring the change in the society by sharing the positivity, by sharing the positive news, by sharing the positive thoughts. Going to the next one is plant a garden. Of course, right now, if you have seen that our environment, our planet is dying, okay, we are cutting down all the trees, we are making the huge complexes, we are making the huge buildings, skyscrapers, and all those things, and but we are not looking towards our environment. So I would say that if you have a space in your home or kind of thing, try to plant a garden, try to plant a tree, try to involve in the gardening, because it will create a very, very huge impact on the environment. It will make the environment more greener, and it will make the environment breathe breathable again, because right now our planet, our the environment is dying. So to stop the planet to die, we have to involve ourselves in gardening. And if you don't have the space in your home, like for the garden or those things, so you can involve in the community projects. If you have seen in the Qatar, the Ministry of Environment is initiating a project, million trees, planting of the million trees. So you can involve with them and you can plant the trees and you can take the participation in planting the trees. So if you really want to bring the change in the community or for the environment or for the planet, I would say you should involve yourself in the gardening or the planting the tree. The third way of bringing the change in the society is speak up and take action. It is basically that don't be a mute spectacle. That's there are a lot of people are there. Okay, they just sit down, they listen all the things happening in the front of their eyes and kind of thing, but they don't take any action. You can see in your own office or in your society or the community, a lot of crimes happen, a lot of other things are happening. So please try to speak up and try to take the action. Actions means you can sign up the petitions, you in the social media you can run the campaigns. And if you really feel that this particular issue is to be addressed in a larger scale, so please try to speak up on that particular topic and try to take the action. Don't be a mute spectator. Again and again I would say, because if you really want to bring the change in the society or bring the change in the world, you have to really come out of your comfortable cocoon and you have to speak up and take the action. That will be the third one from my side: speak up and take the action. The fourth one is stop polluting the water. Nowadays, if you have seen, even in Qatar, I would say if you are going in the beaches and everywhere, the people are becoming so irresponsible that they are doing the barbecues, they are doing the picnics and all those things there, but they throw all the garbages there only. So slowly, slowly, all those things are polluting the water. So what is the major impact of that? The major impact is that after maybe after 10 years, 15 years, we won't be have the enough water for the drinking. So to protect the water, please try to avoid all those things whenever you are visiting any beach or whenever you are going for a picnic near to the beach side or something. Try to collect all your garbages and throw in a dustbin. Don't try to pollute the beach or the water, because water is one of the major source for living for the animals as well as for the human beings. So I would say you should stop polluting the water. Going to the fifth one is help the stray pets. In the Qatar also, you have seen there are a lot of dogs and the cats who are the stray here, and the people who are living the country, they just leave the dogs, they just leave the cats without thinking what will happen to them. So if you see such kind of animals, try to get in association with the cause, which is Qatar Animal Welfare Society, or the PAWS. And right now, the ministry has also taken the initiative where you can call them and they can collect the stray dogs. So by this, you can really bring a change in their lives as well in the community, because they can get a good shelter, and they won't die outside in the streets. So I would say that is one of the things you can really help them to bringing the change in the community or the society. Say no to the plastic bags. Of course, the plastics are the very dangerous things, because the reason is that the plastic don't degrade for the thousand of years. So right now, if you go to Lulu, Almira, and the others big hypermarket, you will see their eco-friendly bags are there. So you can buy all those bags, which is reusable again and again. You can wash all those bags also. So it will help to protect the environment, and it will really make a bigger impact for the community as well as for the planet. Because if slowly all of us will stop the plastic bags, so there won't be any plastic in the planet, and the planet will be free from the plastic. So I will try to say again, please say no to the plastic bags, and try to use more and more eco-friendly bags, which is available in the hypermarkets. Going to the next way is the volunteer. There are a lot of organization where you can do the volunteering work. Okay, so I think this is the best thing to give back to the community, to serve the community, and to bring a change. In Qatar also, we have like the Qatar Volunteer, Qatar Charity, Red Crescent Society, Red Cross Society is there. There are a lot of organizations where you can do the volunteering. The volunteering can happen in any way. You can do the education, you can teach the workers the computers, or you can visit the orphanage, or you can participate like the FIFA. Right now the FIFA is happening, they also require the volunteers. Or you can help the workers in the volunteering by distributing the essential things for them. So I would say even the United Nations, if you visit their website, the United Nations, they also have a lot of volunteering works, which is all over the world. You can visit them and sign up. So I would say try to take time from your busy schedule and give at least 1 or 2 hours in a week for the volunteering thing. It will really make a very big impact in someone's life, and it will really have a bring a positive change in the society or the community. The last one I would say is the spread kindness. Of course, the kindness is a kind of thing which doesn't have any like it doesn't cost you anything. The kindness can be anything. It can start from your office. If your tea boy is serving a coffee to you or a tea to you, just say a simple thank you. It won't cost anything to you, but that particular impact, that smile which is bringing in his face, will really make a huge impact. So kindness can be in any form. If you are in Qatar, you can do a kindness in a lot of ways. You can help the people who have lost their jobs in getting the jobs. The people who are unable to feed their family, you can help them with their grocery items. You can help with them with the food items. The people who are really suffering here, uh, due to the essential needs or kind of thing, you can provide them the essential needs. So I would say yes, kindness is one thing you should spread again and again, and it really have a very positive impact on the society or the community, because a small act of kindness can change someone's life. So I always believe in that, and I would say you should also take that particular thing and spread the kindness in someone's life. So going to the initiatives which was taken by me to bring the change in the community and the society. So I will say that this were the some of the initiatives which were taken by me in this 3 4 years, where I have bring some change in the community, or you can say I have given back to the community by organizing or creating some of the events. So I will go one by one. So the first one, if you see, is a group which is known as the Doha Change Makers. So Doha Change Makers is all about making the change in the community or the society. Doha Changemaker is a group which comes under the umbrella of the Internations. Internations is an expat forum, which is a global forum, and it is situated in 420 cities all around the world. The headquarters in the Germany, and the Doha Changemaker group is a part of the Internations. So Doha Changemaker group is all about the volunteering and the charity. So recently in December 2020, I have become the counsel for the Doha Changemaker groups. And after that, I have conducted some of the events for the group. So one of the events which we are still conducting is the delivery of the grocery box. We have already delivered to the 55 families who have been affected uh, in Qatar due to the COVID. We have delivered them the grocery box. We have helped them with all the grocery items. And then the next activity we have conducted, that we have went to the cause, which is a Qatar Animal Welfare Society. There we have helped all the stray dogs with their what are the requirements for their food and kind of thing, and we have spent the time with them. Then we have conducted the virtual marathon, because in the COVID-19, the health is more important. So we have conducted a virtual marathon because social distancing is more important. So this was one of a unique event kind of thing. So every person was having a marathon or a running in their own own home or kind of thing, and they were sharing all the informations that they have run 15 kilometer 20 kilometers. So this was a kind of a virtual marathon. And the fourth event which we conducted was the session on the ergonomics. We invited one of our renowned doctors, and the doctor has given the session on the ergonomics, that what are the benefit of the ergonomics and everything. So this were some of the events which has been created by the Doha Change Makers as of now. So going to my next group, there was a Qatar Sustainability Week in 2020. We participated in the Qatar Sustainability Week in 2020. The another initiative which we took was, the first initiative was the environmental awareness photography. So this particular Qatar Sustainability Week was held for the week, and we took participation in that. And the first event which conducted was the environmental awareness photography. So basically, we told everyone to give us the pictures of themselves using the eco-friendly things, or how they are doing something in their home which is eco-friendly. So this was the whole concept of the environmental awareness photography. The second event we conducted in this week was the workshop on the wealth out of the West. So we took the bottles which are available, like the plastic bottles or kind of thing which you are using in the home, and we decorated it with the colors and everything, which can be used as the pencil holders and everything. So this event was conducted by a very renowned ecotherapist. Her name was Ritika Bhagat. We just call her from the Bangalore, and on the Zoom meeting only, we have done this workshop on the wealth out of the West. And the third event was on the quiz night, which was a quiz thing on basically on the eco-friendly thing, on the environment awareness. So we conducted on the Zoom. There was no, we were not using any papers or anything. So it was entirely on the Zoom and the Kahoot. And we, all the participants were also presented with a plant to make more awareness towards the environment. So these were the two initiatives which we have done it. The third one is this, if you can see, there's a group which is known as Indian Meter Friends, that is IMF. So basically I'm the admin of this group, and this group is created by me. This group is basically, you can say, we are the expats, young Indian expats, which are here in Qatar. So we, when I created this group in 2013, so we were the 7 people. Now we have more than 250 people in our group. So due to this group, we have done a lot of charity events in Qatar. Last to last year in 2019, we have distributed almost 400 meals to the needy workers. And then we have done the blood donation camp with the help of the friends under this group. Then we have celebrated the new year with the workers. That is before the COVID, when the COVID was not there. We went to the industrial area, and we bought the cake and all the essential item and everything, and we celebrated the new year. That's the first day of the year with the workers, and they were really happy in that. So this were some of the initiative which we have taken through this group, which is known as the IMF. This one is the last one. You can see that Essence of Qatar was a thing which has been launched by me. It's a website all about Qatar. This website was launched last year. And under this website, we have started a series which is known as the People of Qatar series. So People of Qatar series is all about spreading the positivity and in the society, because here we are sharing the stories of the people, the motivating and inspiring stories of the people with the people who are living in the Qatar. And this series is all about the people who having some extraordinary talent in them. We are we are taking the interview of them, and we are publishing in our website. So as of now, we have published the 30 stories. If you visit our website, Essence of Qatar, there you can see. So with this series, we are bringing more and more talents, as well as we are doing a lot of like inspiring or motivating stories we are giving back to the people to read about it. So all our initiatives and everything was appreciated by the local media in Qatar. We were covered in a lot of the local medias in Qatar, and this were some of the local medias where we have been covered. So I would like to end my speech with a quotation from Mahatma Gandhi, that you must be the change you wish to see in the world. So basically, if you really want to change something in the world, or you want to bring the change in the world, you should be the change first. So I would say, if you can come out of your comfortable zone, or if you can come out from your comfortable cocoon, you can really bring a lot of positive change in the community and society. And I would say that in this difficult time, we really need someone, a person or kind of thing, who should serve back to the community, because we really need those people, because a lot of people are suffering from a lot of things. So we should always be there as a helping hand for serving back to the community. So now I would like to hand over the session to Alina for the question and answer.
Thank you so much, Ankit. That was really amazing, so inspiring. And the points that you covered about bringing the change, being positive, being kind, caring about the environment, and taking initiatives. I think there's a pattern throughout the Ramadan Summit. Most of these points have been covered by a lot of speakers. So now, to the audience, these points should have been drilled in you by now, and especially not using plastic, for instance. And we just need to remind ourselves that we have a responsibility, and especially with the Mahatma Gandhi's quote that the change comes within ourselves. So if we can't bring the change within ourselves and realize this and implement it, then we wouldn't be able to expand it to the society. So thank you so much for this. And I think we're having a lot of comments for you. Excellent presentation, so inspiring, well spoken, Ankit. Congratulations. Thoroughly enjoyed the session, and kudos to the contribution. Very inspiring. That's an amazing support system there. So Ankit, I would just like to ask you a quick question. So one of the points that you mentioned about bringing the change is that we should speak up, right? So, but sometimes we can't, I mean, if we don't have the power of the authority, we can't always speak up. So what do you have to say about this? What if like power becomes a barrier? Then what would one do?
Yeah, sometime of course, I feel that's of course this is a very good question, that the power sometime became the barrier. But I would say you have to overcome the fear of that, because if you can't overcome the fear of that particular barrier, then of course every time the barrier will come at some point of time. It's not only got your question because in some of the organizations or in the like in the office or kind of thing, most of the people don't speak if something is happening wrong because they don't have the power to speak up or take the action or kind of thing. But I would say that you have to overcome that fear, because overcoming the fear is one of the thing, then only you can take the action. Otherwise you will always be like you will always be in that barrier. You won't be coming out of that barrier. You have to overcome the fear. I think that is that would be the sum of that answer.
All right then. Thank you so much for this, Ankit. I was just thinking about the recent experience when think I was with an aunt, and we were in her car, and she had a juice box, and she was like, "I'll throw it on the road," but I was like, "No, you shouldn't litter. That's wrong." I was like, "Just keep it in your car," but she's like, "My car will start smelling." I was like, "It's fine. We can throw it later." But like before, like I kept on staying quiet. Like the first time she did it, I stayed quiet, but I was like, no, I need to say something. So I mean, in that context, like I was able to overcome the power barrier. So thank you for this. Would anyone else like to ask any questions? Yeah, Tekang Sen, share positivity, speak up and take actions and help stray pets. And Vinod says, much has been said about plastics. Much of the world has changed because of the use of plastics. If we are to do away with plastics, what is the alternative?
Yeah. So yes, the alternative is that of course it can't happen for the in the one day. Of course, I told you in the same thing, that's a snowball effect. So you have to slowly move towards to the product, like now we have the bamboo toothbrushes, we have the other eco-friendly items which are coming in the market slowly. So start using that. I would say, of course, it's very difficult in the first phase to going directly to the products, but slowly when you start using the things, it will really bring the change in the future. So you should start with a small thing. You should not it should not happen like, okay, you are totally banning everything and you are going directly towards that. But if you start with a small drop or kind of thing, it will definitely have a huge impact in the future. So I would say go slowly with the eco-friendly things, you will do it. So that is the alternative, I would say.
Um, okay, I think Tekang has a question. Tekang, would you like to unmute yourself, please?
Okay. Thanks very much, bro, for that beautiful explanation of yours. I want to find out from you, how did you manage to kind of navigate from climate change, including the environment, to agriculture, to health, and a lot of these variables? How did you find yourself to get across these stuff? Because it's probably a bit difficult. If you know someone who is very good in agriculture, wants to focus on agriculture, use technology, and just agriculture, how did you turn around all this, like 160 degrees or 180 degrees around?
Yeah, I didn't got your question properly. Can you just type it in the chat box? It will be easy for me.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think, Ankit, I think as far as I understand, the question is about you have a wide scope of activities from climate change to plastics to environmental conservation. I think he's asking how you make these shifts and how you connect the different areas. Like maybe he's asking to learn from your experience. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing which I told you, that basically you don't have to do all the ways which I have told you in my presentation. If you follow one thing, it will bring an impact, because you can't do everything together at one time. Because suppose if you want to be involved in the plantation drive, so try to make more impact on the plantation drive. If you really want to be more concerned about the climate or kind of thing, so be more concerned towards the climate. Because if every person do small things in different areas, then it will make a huge impact. So that's one thing. Because if you put everything in one area, means if you put your hand in everything, then nothing will happen. So I would say that what basically you think that the world needs right now to be changed. So you can make your impact in that particular area more.
All right then. Thank you so much for this, Ankit. If there aren't any more questions, Ankit, would you like to move on to your quiz now?
Yeah, just hold on 1 minute. So the first person to type the answer in the chat box will be the winner. So I'm going to the question. The question is, what are the 3 simple ways that can help to bring positive change or difference in the world? Can you see my slide?
No, but I think everyone they're typing in their answers.
Okay, just 1 minute here.
And the first one who responded is Rakesh Bahiti.
Okay, yeah, Rakesh has shared positivity, speak up and take action helps free pets. Okay, so Rakesh, you are the winner for the quiz. And as a surprise gift, which I told that I will be presenting a small, beautiful plant to you. It will be get delivered to your home in a couple of days. So thank you so much for that presentation because it will be a small plant. So due to the COVID, everything is online. So I will get it delivered in your home. And congratulations once again, Rakesh, for taking the quiz.
If I may say something, by the way,
Yeah.
if you look at the comment at 3:10, Tekang was the first respondent at 3:10 p.m.
Okay, so it was 317, 317. I think both have answered 317. So no worries, Tigang and the Rakesh both are the winners. So I will be presenting the plans to both of you. That's not an issue.
So you know what happened? I think you showed that slide at around 3:10
Yeah,
first,
I guess. Yeah,
and then
yeah.
Tekang got it at 3:10. And then you showed it twice, second time with the verbal. But it's good that actually you can give 2 gifts to
Yeah,
our
I
colleague.
can. No
Yeah.
worries.
Thank you
I
so
will
much, Ankit. You are so generous.
No
Yeah.
worries, no worries. And I will just share your email ID or something with me, or I will take from the Mohammed. So I will get your gifts delivered to your place. And before moving forward, thank you so much, Alina, and thank you so much, Mohammed, for giving me the forum. And this is my first time I'm speaking to an audience like this. And I would request everyone to be the part of my volunteering organization. If you really want to join the things which I am doing for the community, you are most welcome. You can connect me on my Facebook or my Instagram, where we have the Doha Changemaker groups, and we are posting the activities on the regular basis. And you are most welcome to join in for all the volunteering and the other activities. Over to you, Alina.
Thank you so much, Ankit. That was really incredible. Would you like to insert your contact details so if anyone's interested, they can contact you?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
thank you so much to the audience for joining us with the first talk by Ghada. Be fearless, own your ideas, and try to implement the design thinking approach in your work styles. And with the beautiful lessons that Ankit covered, be kind, try to give back to society in different ways, think about the change so that you can bring in yourselves. And that's it. That's it for today. Now, thank you so much, everyone. See you all tomorrow at 2 p.m. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.